Hey there everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name's Jared, also known as Sir Blinken here on YouTube. So this is a variety content channel, but I tend to specialize in unboxing videos at the moment, but mainly trying to focus on technology and advancements in technology, which is where the unboxing kind of comes into play. And today we're doing what's my most anticipated video since I started making this channel, the unboxing video for my new computer. This channel originally started where I did an unboxing video for my wife's new Samsung laptop, but around that same time period, I'd also ordered a new computer for myself. I've spoken in the past about the fact that my wife and I both really enjoy having computers that do more than just be a basic computer, and we like kind of the expanded environments that exist out there. She tends to be more into the Samsung environment, which is where the new Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360 came into play, and is a very welcome addition to her Samsung environment. She absolutely loves that laptop. And when I managed to get that ordered and it got here a little bit early, I decided to make my first official YouTube video based around that, which blew up and was a much larger response than I could have ever anticipated. And so I decided to put some more gumption kind of into the channel and see what I could do, and have some other videos out there that have done quite well, way better than I expected. So I decided to actually kind of make hopefully a potential shift and a potential career out of moving into YouTube over time. And with that, I knew that I was going to need to upgrade my computer as well. I needed a new computer for quite some time as it was, but I wasn't quite ready to pull the trigger on it. About the end of 2021, beginning of 2022, is when I kind of started thinking more seriously on purchasing a new computer. And I went through kind of all the main ones. I looked at the HP Envy line of laptops, which are nice computers. Wasn't quite what I was looking for, didn't quite have the power. I was looking at hopefully being able to do some gaming on it, and that wasn't quite there. So I started looking at the Asus Zephyrus line, which are great gaming computers, and MSI has some great gaming computers, but they didn't quite do the home processing stuff quite as well as I was hoping to be able to do. And by the end of it, I very much started leaning into the MacBook Pro. Given, once again, being in that kind of environment minded, that the MacBook had a whole lot to offer for someone like myself who has multiple iPads. I have an iPhone, and I'm an Apple fanboy at heart. I'm just going to be honest. I've had Apple products for 14 years now. I didn't have the original iPhone because I was on the AT&T plan, and in the area that I live, AT&T did not have coverage. So it wasn't until Verizon, or actually at that point Alltel, which then became Verizon, offered the ability to have the iPhone on their network, that I was able to switch and get an iPhone. So, quite some time ago, but still wasn't the initial adopter for that. But the MacBook Pro did have a lot to offer. Macs are not good at gaming. I will admit that. They have a lot of performance. They could run games if they were kind of quote unquote allowed to, but games just aren't designed to run on their operating system. And that was the one kind of downside, is I wanted to be able to do some gaming, and the MacBook Pro just isn't quite there. They do have some emulators out there now. They have some third-party apps that allow you to cross-play and be able to run Windows like a virtual PC on your Mac, but then you're having to take that CPU and the GPU power to not just play the game, but now to translate and recode the game from Windows into Metal, and it just doesn't work as well as you'd like it to be able to. So there was a little bit of hesitation there. So I kept kind of going back and forth, and quite frankly, it did come down to Asus versus Apple for me. And then kind of about the time when my wife's Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360 got aired, was about the time that I was thinking about ordering the new laptop for myself, or trying to figure out really what I needed for myself. So I went ahead and ordered that for her, and figured that at the very least that I could kind of steal that from her every now and then if I needed to, but at least we'd have a new computer in the house for running stuff that I can't run off the iPad. Most stuff I can manage off an iPad. There are certain programs, certain things that you can't quite do on there yet, that certain websites or programs that you need to run just aren't iOS friendly. I started kind of also looking back and thinking about the fact that I didn't really need a laptop. As far as portability went, that the iPad gave me all the portability that I needed. So I started looking at towers, and I started looking at AMD and Intel and all the different computers that they had to offer. And there were a lot of great options, but with the supply chain shortages that have been going on and all the kind of struggles through COVID, computers just started getting insanely expensive. And I'd go on, Newegg, or go on AMD's website, or go on Nvidia's, or try and look at Intel, and just to get a basic tower, you're looking at least $3,000 to start, and then generally you're looking in the $5,000 to $6,000 range to be able to do a computer that's going to do anything that I'd want to be able to do gaming and processing and video editing and anything like that. And so I just wasn't quite sure what I wanted, but the MacBook Pro was kind of in the back of my head the entire time. I have had some experience with them. I've never owned one myself, but I have used some in the past, and they were great laptops. And so it pretty much got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to order the Samsung for my wife. I'm going to order the Apple for myself. And if there's anything that I can't do on mine, I should be able to do it on hers. And if I can't, we'll make it work. Unfortunately, by the time I went through and actually built one or designed it on Apple's website, it was about $3,800. And I was like, well, I don't really need the laptop function. I just need the computer. I need the CPU, I need the GPU, I need all the kind of internals. And I really like having the operating system in the Apple environment, so I can transfer stuff back and forth easily from the iPads and the phone. So I didn't really want to go with the Windows computer. So I was kind of in a tough spot. I know Unbox Therapy did a great video a while back showing that people who were actually buying broken MacBook Pros and just using the base as a computer and then plugging it into a TV and just using that as a screen, which was kind of tempting, but I didn't really want to buy something that someone else had already broken. So I was kind of trying to figure out what to do, and right when I was getting ready to actually just say, screw it, I'm just going to order this $3,800 laptop, I found that Apple was going to be having a March event. So I went, okay, let's kind of do some research into this, and started digging in, found that there's rumors that the new M2 chip was rumored to be coming out at this event. So for me, I was like, well, the M1 Max in the MacBook Pro is pretty much all I really need a computer to be able to do. So hopefully when the M2 comes out, the M1 Max will be cheaper. So I went, okay, we'll give it, I think it was like March 18th. I gave it some time. And sure enough, at the event, time came to announce the M2, and it didn't happen. A lot of people were kind of surprised. What did happen was the M1 Ultra got announced, though. And not just an M1 Ultra, but a whole new computer to take advantage of the M1 Ultra. And so with that then, introduced a whole new line of computers that are desktop computers, but are small and compact, and can do everything that the laptops can, and to some extent even more than the laptops can, but with a more budget-friendly approach, which is exactly what I needed. Now, I will say that The Ultra ended up filling the slot of the M2 in my case, where I did not need anything more than the M1 Max. But with the M1 Ultra, the new Apple computers also have an M1 Max variant. So, sure enough, here we have it today, the new Mac Studio that has the M1 Max chip in it. I did get this torn off already, but we'll go ahead and chuck this off to the side, and we're going to get this bad boy opened up, and then we'll kind of break down why I picked this particular model and some different pros and cons that I see through it before really even getting to use it. But we'll get this open and kind of go from there. So this thing does have a really neat folding box. I've got my headphones on the cord. And so let's check that. Nice carrying handle. Apple, you do your boxes really well. Chuck that over there, I guess. I will say that Unbox Therapy, Linus Tech Tips, Max Tech, a bunch of people have got these earlier. I know with my Mac or my wife's Samsung laptop, we managed to get it ahead of release date. This, due to the kind of high demand on them, and this is not just a standard model, ended up taking a little bit longer to get in. It just got here Friday evening. Today's Sunday. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the video right away. This is Easter weekend, so I did have to wait 2 days to actually get into this thing, but I'm quite sure it's going to be well worth the wait, and I know my family definitely appreciate having me around for that. But like I said, it is Easter, which means that this has been out for a couple of weeks. Some other people have done unboxings, have started doing reviews already, have done teardowns. I recommend going and checking them out. Max Tech has been doing a lot of great benchmarks on these. They ordered the base model, some mid-range, all the way up to the super maxed out M1 Ultra package. This is not by any means top of the line. I didn't personally need that. This is very similar to the one that Unbox Therapy has. This is a little bit higher upgrade than the one that he got because he just got the basic package. With that being said, I have not watched any of their videos because I didn't want to actually see this being taken out. So I just went through and listened to them and kind of heard the reviews without actually having to see this being taken out of the box and seeing what that's like, because I didn't want to spoil it for myself. So if you want to skip this part of the video because you're going to order one of these for yourself, I don't blame you. Or if you just want to listen, but let's go ahead and get this thing open. I did tear off a seal over here. Let's see, I push the handle in and get this flipped open. There is okay, the manual in the top. Okay, that's just a kind of square up there. This, I don't know if I was supposed to pull that all the way out or not, but so that kind of opens. So you can see just how small this thing is. Obviously, I've seen like the Mac Minis, and I've seen the some of the images online for this thing, but they do not do this thing justice for just how small that is. And then in the bottom of the box here, power cable. I do believe that's all that comes in the box. You don't get HDMI, you don't get anything else like that. You just get the power cable. This is a really neat box. I may save this just to try and play around with it later, see if I can get anything else to work with it. But at least for now, it's a cool box, so you may see that back later. If not, it's just a box. So let's go ahead and get this guy brought over here. It's so small. I mean, the thing that I guess to be not too surprised about is the fact that the M1 Max, this has the same cores, the same processors, the same SSD, pretty much the same everything that the top of the line MacBook Pro has. And obviously the MacBook Pro is flat, So they fit all that stuff in there, where this is just kind of more condensed and taller. But it's still like unbelievable just how small this thing is. And I'm tearing stuff. Try not to tear everything open, but it looks like there's a seam. Oh, there's something stuck there. Oh, there that goes. Not being the most graceful at this, but oh well. I don't think you're really that worried about that. Mac Studio. One thing I will point out, because I've, like I said, seen some of the reviews on these. In order to do any repairs on this thing, if you ever have to, you actually have to take this ring off the bottom, which is a really kind of crappy design, but, you know, Apple does what Apple does. While I have this kind of flipped this way, this is also the air intake, so it pulls air up through the bottom and then shoots air out the back. Everything I've heard and seen, that this thing is super quiet, which for putting in a studio, especially where I'm planning on doing a lot more recording, is perfect for what I'm looking to be able to do. It does have the, and my light just fell off the table. It does have the memory card reader, so I do have a GoPro. If I ever want to take some video on there and pop the SD card in here, I can read that. And then it has two USB-C ports on the front. I do believe that these are just basic USB-C. The 4 on the back are Thunderbolt. And if I would have upgraded this to the Ultra chip, then it would have upgraded the front ports to Thunderbolt as well. This just has the M1 Max chip in it because that's what I needed. And I didn't really need the Ultra. And quite frankly, I don't think many people out there will really need the Ultra. I think that the M1 Max is capable of doing almost anything that you're going to need it to be able to do. Especially with this one, where I took in, they start with the 10-core CPU, and then they start with a base 16-core GPU. I did think that for like, I think $180 extra, doubling that to a 32-core GPU was well worth the investment. You know, just doubling the graphics capability in there. And then also I doubled the hard drive. So instead of having the stock 512 SSD, this has the 1 terabyte SSD in it, which once again was, I believe, another $180 upgrade. So this full computer, to be exactly equivalent to the maxed out $3,800 MacBook Pro, ended up coming in at $2,400. So a $1,400 savings, which for me was well worth it. And I think for a lot of people out there, that $1,400 is going to be well worth it too. Now, the new caveat I will acknowledge is that since this came out, the M1 Max MacBook Pro has dropped $300 in price. It's now sitting at $3,500 instead of $3,800, where it was just a month ago. So, with that being said, this is still $1,100 cheaper than the laptop variant that has pretty much the same capabilities to it. You can do a lot with $1,100. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the iPads, and so for me, for portability, I can spend $2,400 on this, and then for $1,100, you can go buy a 13-inch iPad, and now you're at the same price as just having the laptop. Yes, the laptop's going to have all the power in one unit, but when do you need all that power on the go? I've had laptops, I've had towers that I've built myself. My last tower was about $6,000 that I built almost 10 years ago. And so I just used iPads on the go and never really missed having a laptop that much. And even when I used a laptop, I just plugged it into the TV or I used it at home. iPads are just so versatile and can do almost anything a laptop can nowadays that I'd rather just use an iPad. But that's my personal preference. The other thing is, if you're really looking for portability and you may not like the iPad, the MacBook Air is an amazing, small, compact, portable laptop and it's $1,000. I mean, yes, you can upgrade it to $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, depending on what you want to put in there, but you can still have it be so much smaller and more portable and compact than the MacBook Pro is. And then when you need to take and actually sit down and do kind of more hardcore, quote unquote, like video processing, gaming, or whatever you need to do at home, that the MacBook Pro may be able to do that the MacBook Air couldn't, well, then you just have the Studio. And you can plug the Studio into the Air and use it as a display. Or you can sit there and have the Air set up and then have the Studio hooked into a TV or a computer monitor, and or any number of things, or even an iPad, and then have either a secondary display or just have two different computers running for the same price as just the MacBook Pro. Yes, some people need to be able to take all the power on the go with them. I get that, and that's where the MacBook Pro comes into play. But I think for especially college students and high school students, that it's actually a better option to have a studio at home set up to either a TV, a computer monitor, or even just be able to hook it into your laptop, and then have a smaller, cheaper, more portable, and more replaceable device to take with on the go. You know, I feel a lot safer sending my daughter out the door with a $700 to $1,000 iPad than I would sending her out the door with a $3,500 to $3,800 MacBook Pro. You know, I don't want to say something with my wife, but like if she goes off to college or she goes to school, you know, I'm not worried about her breaking or losing, but I'm worried about someone walking off with something where, you know, if someone steals a $1,000 laptop, sucks, but it's not as bad as them stealing a $3,500 or $3,800 laptop. And once again, I don't think either of them really need the power of a MacBook Pro on the go. So that's just where kind of my opinions on all this stuff come in. And that's why I picked the performance package of the M1 Max MacBook Pro, but didn't need the portability. And then when this came out, it was the perfect timing. It ticked every box I had ticked on that laptop, and it hit every note that I needed a computer to be able to hit, especially with the thought of moving in and doing YouTube more. I think that this is going to be the perfect machine for making YouTube videos and for doing everything to hopefully get this channel to grow and to be able to provide a variety of content. Now, aside from just using this as a computer, I have some hopefully great ideas for some cool or different, unique things to do with this computer to provide different videos, different entertainment. Maybe give you guys some different ideas on, hi, my dog just walked in, on what to do. So hopefully you guys find that interesting and kind of enjoyable as we move forward. But yeah, so definitely looking forward to getting into this thing. I'm not going to do, actually kind of say this thing small if I can probably stand up like that. I'm not going to do benchmarks on this thing. A lot of people out there are doing them. Max Tech has gone over a bunch of benchmarks for this thing. And I just don't think that they're that necessary. I did not buy this because it's the most powerful computer in the world. I bought this because it does everything I needed to be able to do. And I think that this is the most bang for the buck, powerful, best all-around computer out there. Like I said, it may not be able to do everything, but it can be compatible with other stuff to be able to have an environment that can do everything that I need to do. And I believe a lot of people, especially students or teachers, will be able to do. So yeah, with that being said, this is my pick for a computer. I'm looking forward to getting it set up. Hopefully, I can come up with a lot of fun ideas. Hopefully, I can take this channel to an even higher level. Thank you guys so much for all the attention that you've brought here. Thanks for all the great feedback and interactions that we've had. You guys have absolutely blown me away with this stuff at this point. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing the benchmarks, but some of these other more real-world applications, I don't see a lot of other people doing right now, and so that's where those kind of fun ideas hopefully come into play. Will end up working out. I do plan on getting Final Cut Pro for this thing. So hopefully I can take my video editing to the next level. Obviously, I'm just filming this channel so far on my iPhone and then using iMovie between my iPhone and iPad to edit and upload everything. Hopefully, I'll be able to start using this bad boy to get that stuff processed better. Maybe start, getting stuff taken to the next level. And if we can keep this channel growing the way it is right now, pick up some new microphones. Right now, I'm using my Bose headset. Maybe get actually a kind of studio mic set up. Get a new studio camera set up and actually keep taking this channel further and further. But I can't do that without you guys. So if you want to see that happen, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and let's make this a community and let's move forward together. This isn't here for me. This is here mainly for you guys. So let's keep it a joint effort. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you checking in. I appreciate everything you do. So for now, this is Sir Blinken, also known as Jared, signing out. We'll see you next time with hopefully some more fun videos. Thanks and have a great day. Happy Easter. Bye-bye.